All right. Hello. Welcome to the first ever episode of the Resident Spotlight podcast at Whitestone.
Woohoo!
I am your host, Larkin Pena, Community Life Services member, and I have with me a woman who does not need to be named, Anita Greenstein. How are you today?
I am just fine. Thank you very much.
Well, as y'all may or may not have known, I talked with my team and we were asking who would be our first person for Resident Spotlight. And it was an overwhelming choice to have Anita here with us today. She's very popular here at Whitestone.
Well, thank you very much.
Of course. Well, why don't we just jump into these questions, shall we?
I'm always ready to jump.
Nice. All right. So when and where were you born?
Well, I was born in the Bronx, New York, and I'm not telling you what year that was, but it was a while ago. And
I'm too good at math, so.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. Well, tell us about your childhood. How was the Bronx? What were you into?
I was into running from guys.
Nice.
And I was into school and I was into dance. I actually loved the life I lived in the Bronx. It was very non-denominational. We all lived together, happy, and I would walk across a bridge and get to Manhattan, and I really loved where I lived.
Well, where else have you lived?
Many places. When Alan and I married, we moved to Texas, where he studied for his clinical psychology degree. And then we went on to Maryland. And then after that, we moved to York, Pennsylvania, where we spent 36 years. That was also a wonderful community. I had lots of friends. It was just wonderful. And then when we retired, we moved to North Hutchinson Beach in Florida, where I walked the beach every day, every morning. And we used to usher at the Sunrise Theater, and we met many a performer. And then I worked at the Vero Beach Museum of Art for 8 years. The art museum was fabulous. The theaters were fabulous. We just had a spectacular time and meeting lots of people.
Very nice. Well, this might have been yesterday, but who did you look up to as a young person?
When I was a little girl, I adored Roy Rogers.
Nice.
I really wanted him to adopt me, and I wanted to live with his family. He adopted a lot of children, so I really wanted to be part of his family. And then I realized as I got older that my mother was a very special person. She had to go to work when she was 14 because she had brothers who had to go to school. Back then, the boys were always the thing, and they had to go to school. So my mother had to support the family. And that's what she did. She supported the family. And I looked up to her because she also supported our family. My father was a little gruff, so they bought this store, and he could not handle it. So he went to work for somebody else, and my mother took over the store. So it was my mother who helped the family again.
Yeah. That's lovely. I feel like a lot of people end up finding more appreciation for their parents much later. I know I couldn't stand my mom when I was living with her, but now she's my best friend.
Your mother should be your best friend.
This is true. Well, tell us about your education and some occupations that you've been into. I know you talked about them a little bit, but...
I've done a lot of things. After high school, I went to Pace College right before I got married. And then we as I say, we moved to Texas. After he was through and we moved to York, I became an administrator of a mental health facility that we started. We got the York Mental Health Center and York Guidance Mental Health Center. We put it together. It was for all people. And then I decided I hated being an administrator because I had to fire people. Mm-hmm. And so I went to massage therapy school and I became a massage therapist, which I have to tell you, I absolutely loved because I saw the benefits of a massage on people, and it was wonderful. When we were in the guidance center, just to go back, we employed 42 therapists, social workers, and psychiatrists. So between both jobs, I did a lot. I also volunteered for lots of things.
Much things to be proud of, huh?
Well, yeah, it went on as I got older, so and I'll tell you about that in a few minutes.
Nice. Well, let's jump more into things to be proud of. Tell us about your relationships. Who's important to you? Do you have any children? Who would you describe as your support system?
I have 3 children, but I have 8 grandchildren. I have 4 great-grandchildren.
I can't believe that.
And yes. Oh, so cute too. And of course, my family is the most important thing in my life. But my husband, Alan, is my support system. Like no other one could be. He's just wonderful. We're going to be married 58 years and we're still together.
Congratulations.
But the friends I have made here at Whitestone, I consider them to be my support system. And I can't tell you enough how much love and support I get from everyone here, including you and the staff. And it's just a wonderful thing to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad to hear it. Well, that's a very beautiful sentiment to kind of pause on. Why don't we jump into some places you've traveled to? What's your favorite place you've been to?
Alan and I love to travel. We didn't travel till he turned 50 because we realized our kids have been everywhere, but we hadn't. But our first trip was to China. Actually, it was the least expensive trip.
Huh.
And we just loved China. It was just full of sights and sounds and dead animals and airplanes that were broken down, but we went on them. We saw night markets, the Great Wall of China. It was absolutely fabulous. The terracotta soldiers. That was just our favorite place. But we've been to Italy. I loved Rome. Russia. We've been to Ushuaia, which is at the bottom of South America. Love that. We did Australia. I've gone to Alaska twice with my grandchildren. I take them as a graduation present from high school.
Nice.
Either now or before they graduate, because I didn't know how long I'd be here, and I'm still here. I don't know. I'll have to find someone to take to Alaska.
All right. Well, that's a lot of interesting places you've been to. What is your favorite thing to do?
I actually love to dance. I love to be with people. I love the theater, but my favorite sport is seated volleyball.
That one's pretty popular.
We have so much fun. We laugh and laugh and laugh. You get hit on back of the head, with the ball. Oh, I love when a certain person, not to mention any names, hits the ball up and it goes right into the light.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a hoot.
Happens every time. I think we should incorporate a part in the game where we take a shot every time someone says, well, that's how you use your head during a game. Yeah. All right. Well, some fun questions. What is the craziest thing you've ever done?
Well, I've done a couple. Everyone knows that I'm a little crazy. But the most fun I ever did was I did the iFly. I don't know if you know what the iFly is. It's a wind tunnel that simulates free fall from a plane. So Alan was supposed to tape me while I was doing this stupid thing. Here I am with my arms out and flying and flapping. And then I got out, I got undressed, and wouldn't you know, my husband forgot to film it.
Oh, no.
So I had to run back and try again. So we did it, and he finally got it on the camera. And so it is with me for the rest of my life.
Nice.
I've also done the zip line, which that's a little scary. I've gone snorkeling. I can't swim, but I can snorkel. I've done a bunch of kooky things. I shouldn't tell everybody this, but I once met Alan in the car with the raincoat on, and that was it.
Oh.
And so that's my craziest thing I ever did.
Scandalous. Well, what's the most embarrassing thing you ever done?
I was doing little theater. I was acting in little theater for children's theater. And we were doing The Little Mermaid. And the director made costumes out of foam. So here I was. We went to the YMCA, and I had a foam top and a foam tail and everything. And then we all had to get in the pool and do our lines. So I jumped in the pool, and everything else fell off.
Oh, no.
It was so heavy when it filled up with water that there was no anything. It was a nudie show. That had to be the most embarrassing thing I've ever done.
Well, let's get on to our next question. What is something that you're incredibly proud of?
At the age of 70, I contacted Amgen, that is a chemical company, to tell them how wonderful their drug Prolia is, because I have osteoporosis and I've not had much success with other drugs. Well, this drug helped. So all of a sudden, I became a spokeswoman for Prolia. I spoke to thousands of employees of Amgen from all over the world. I spoke in Dallas, where the entrance were like the Great Walls of China. You know, it was huge. And I got on the stage, and then there were two huge, my face was on it. It was awful. It was like TV screens, huge. And then I went to DC at the mall there. I've gone to Salt Lake City. I've spoken there twice. I went to Thousand Oaks, California twice. I filmed an infomercial, which is still on. There's a website for Prolia. Nice. And if you scroll down to where it says, watch their stories, I'm the second one. And that's been quite a long time, but it's still there. And I'm really proud that I got to do that. The other thing I was proud of is that when I graduated junior high school in New York City, I was given a citation by the New York Mayor Wagner, at Gracie Mansion as being an outstanding graduating student. That was really exciting. I mean, I wasn't the only one. There were lots of kids, but I was the only one there by myself. Oh. So, but it was my mother and my father worked. So, but I went down there and it was wonderful.
Those are some stellar accomplishments. As a reminder for our folks that are listening, there is going to be a sign with all this lovely information and a lot of pictures of Anita's lovely face.
I hope with my clothes on.
Yes, for sure. Keep it PG. But you'll be able to see all this information and you'll be able to find all the things that we've talked about so far with ease. We have a couple more questions. This one's one of my favorites. What is the best advice you've ever received? Who was it from?
One of the best advice I ever got was from me Irish mom. My mother and father both worked. So I stayed with me Irish mom, who watched me when she was at work. So she taught me a poem. It goes, "Your future lies before you like a path of fallen snow. Be careful how you tread on it, for every step will show."
Nice. I'm loving the Irish accent.
If you pardon the expression, if you weren't a bitch or a bastard, you weren't part of the family.
Two bouts of good advice at once. All right. Well, tell us something about yourself that you don't often tell people.
Well, I don't normally tell people this, but I have a feeling they can see it. I am a very sensitive person, and I thrive on love. I was called the kissing bug by my family when I was little. I care about everybody, and I love being here because of the love I get in return. That's what I don't tell people often. I probably should tell you, I love you.
I love you too. Well, you definitely show it, so you don't have to tell us as much if that's any consolation. But speaking of love, what is love?
Love is in your heart, your soul, and it is given freely to those you care about. I cry every time I hear, I'm already choking up, Jean Valjean sing in Les Mis, to love another person is to see the face of God.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of anything nicer.
For sure. Well, speaking of love, that concludes our time. But Anita, I want to let you know that you are very loved by the folks here at Whitestone. I really appreciate you coming here today. And is there anything else that you want to tell our listeners?
I just want to say I love you all. You're good guys. It's a great place. And I'm thankful that we're all together.
Very nice. Well, that concludes our time. Tune in next time for our next resident spotlight. Again, this is Larkin, your host, and I have been here with Anita Greenstein. Have a great day.